So I stumbled onto it accidentally, but it ended up, I was sort of ahead of the curve in terms of the way the internet and the market works in terms of selling stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's a process that has worked incredibly well for us. I mean, and it's turned into what we teach with people to do through content marketing and podcasting and blogging and things like that as well, is you're kind of, instead of proposing on the first date, there's a courtship with your customers for a little while first, I guess, is one analogy. Or another analogy when it comes to the sucking the money out of the market is like the movie release, where, all this anticipation builds up and you hear about the movie release from all these different directions, and then it opens up and they're going to make that big payday in that first weekend. I mean, in the movie business, that's how it works. Now, the great thing with internet business is you can continue to make money off your product even after the launch. Sadly, a movie has a shelf life, whereas a product does not per se. But yeah, it's worked incredibly effectively for us as well.
One of the things that you mentioned was when you got started, you started with a couple of things you were passionate about. And we love talking about, finding those things that you're passionate about. And we also like to talk a lot about, on Internet Business Mastery, we like to talk about mindset of success. And we wanted to know what you think is the most important thing an internet entrepreneur can do to develop the mindset needed for success.
Boy, that's a great question, and sometime let's do a 3-day seminar and do nothing but talk about.
Oh yeah, our entire first course in the academy is just mindset because of how important it is.
Yeah, that's awesome. In fact, I'd like to see that. I mean, I really would, because this is something that I get passionate talking about this stuff, because I had several different internet businesses do very, very well, and I am convinced. In fact, I've proven it to myself that, you could take it all away from me and I could turn around in just a few months, create another massive success. And it's because of mindset. And the reality is once you get the mindset, I mean, if you took everything away, the place to start off when you're starting back over is with mindset. So a couple of things that I'll just hit on real quick. First of all, the idea of baby steps. Getting one small success under your belt is huge, because then you can build on that. And the beautiful thing about the internet is most internet businesses tend to be pretty scalable, and there's a huge internet out there. And you can figure out how to get one little success in one little area and one little niche, you can repeat that and you can scale it up. And that's what I've done over and over again. Another key thing is getting to your first dollar. I mean, don't invest years or months and thousands of dollars into getting your business up. Figure out how to get the first dollar of profit, and then and that's your baby step, and then scale it up from there. I have so many people come to me with ideas for businesses, and they're like, it's like, okay, we're going to I'm dead serious, but I had some guy come and he's like, basically, well, I got this great plan for, creating the next Google. And he had no money, no staff, no experience, but, he had an idea. I'm like, you know what? You might be right. You might be able to take on Google and beat them, or coexist with them. But, the reality is you're going to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars in a couple of years chasing that thing down. And for some guy doing it out of their basement, that's probably, it ain't going to work. Get your first dollar. Another thing that's super important, and it might almost sound a little counterintuitive to get into the first dollar, but it's the idea of deferred gratification. Like a lot of times in my sales, I'll leave money on the table. I just rolled out a new product, and we could have sold a lot more product than we sold. We sold a ton. We were well into the 7 figures in less than 24 hours. So we sold a ton. Spectacular success. But I could have sold probably 50% more if I had pushed really, really hard, if I pushed my partners really hard, if I had pushed my sales process really hard, if I had left it on the market longer. But the reality is I would not be able to service my new clients as well. And because it's a new product, I want to be able to service my clients very, very well. So I left money on the table, because that money's still going to be there next time around. I'm willing to defer gratification, defer those sales to make a great product, a great customer experience, because I know going forward, those people will become my army of, they'll go out and they'll tell the world how great I was and how great my product was. And that will build my business long term. the beautiful thing about the internet business for most of us is our cost structure tends to be very, very low. And so we're not like the corporate, the Fortune 500 companies where we're getting judged by the public on our next quarter's earnings. We can afford to take a little longer view because of our cost structure is lower. Yet generally we don't have big staffs. So, think about your don't just think about your sales tomorrow or next week. Think about your sales and how you're going to build them over time and how this product and this promotion sets up the next product and the next promotion. And just be thinking, at least one product ahead or two products ahead or two promotions ahead. So deferred gratification is a big one. And then the last one I want to touch on here, I know I've gone long on this, is opportunity cost. Be aware, there's a lot of different ways to have a business online. And as you start to have some success, you'll get into what we call deal flow. And a lot of people will start coming to you with ideas, deals, and things you can promote.
Yeah.
And just, it's like, after you have a little bit of success, it's like a new deal coming to you every day, a new promotion, someone wants to partner up. You get unbelievable deal flow. And you have to understand that even if that deal is just like you sending out an email to your list promoting something, when you start focusing on all these deals, there's always an opportunity cost. Even if it's not costing money out of your pocket, you're spending your time, your effort, your social capital on a given opportunity. And so is that the right place? Is it the right place to spend that capital? So think not just in terms of where you're spending money, but where you're spending your time and your focus and your relationship capital with your list and your social capital with your partners. Your social capital with your family. I mean, don't try to be working 22 hours a day nonstop. So focus on the overall opportunity cost. That's a little more advanced. It's like once you start to get like more and more deals coming at you. But even if you're just starting off right now as a beginner with nothing going on, and you're looking at possible 6 different deals, well, if you try to chase all 6 of them, what's the saying? Man who chases 2 rabbits catches none.
Yeah.
And so you have to pick what horse you're going to get on. And remember that the opportunity cost is that there's a bunch of other horses you're not getting on. So evaluate carefully which horse you want to get on.
Yeah,
Awesome.
It's funny, definitely on the level of right now for us this last year. I can't even believe when I started, let's say 5 years ago or so, had I known that I'd be turning down the opportunities this year that we turned down, I wouldn't believe it. And it's just funny how that works, and you have to take that time to go, look, I only have this much time, and our goal is long term, and all that same kind of stuff. It's just amazing to see what you do start ending up turning down.
Right. We're all in an evolution process. I mean, I hope everyone on this call is in a process of evolving themselves and evolving their businesses. And the lesson I've had drilled into me over and over and over from back in 97 was you have to think bigger. You have to think bigger. And it's like one day, actually this was in 96 after I first started publishing that newsletter, in about 2 or 3 months, and I had, 200 people on my list, and I would just religiously track how many got on my list every day. And it's like, 2 got on. I had a day where 4 people joined my list. I was like, just so excited, and then it'd be back down to 3 people. And then one day I woke up in the morning, and there's like 150 people had joined overnight. And I was like, holy cow, how did this happen? So I sent those people emails, individual emails. Hey, I see you joined my list. I was just wondering how you heard about me. And they wrote back and they said, well, your website was featured on a PBS Frontline TV show.
Huh.
And I was like, what? And this is before, I didn't even have a domain name back then. I had a free domain. It was like, my domain was like, whatever, Jeff's, whatever, isp.com//J Walker. That was my website address. And I'm like, I was on a TV show on PBS. And so I went and tracked it down, and PBS had featured some of my stock market charts on their website. So they had a PBS show, and the show said, go to our website for more charts. And you went there, and they had my charts, and they linked to my site. And I'm like, okay, I just have to start thinking bigger here. I was thinking I'm just Jeff sitting here, stuffed into the baby's changing room with my computer, but I have to start thinking a little bigger here.